What was your motivation to go into that direction and start studying applied mathematics?
It was very, very important to be there, to feel that vibe, to feel that all content.
It's possible and it's a norm, and just to shift the stereotype of idea of entrepreneurship is for men.
Building a startup, working for a startup, it's all about being able to iterate in very uncertain environment.
It's also super hard to find someone even to distinguish that this person has the same values as you.
You trust someone as a person, you see that trust is coming, and that's why you are investing.
Having various personalities when it comes to different roles.
Say no to a lot of things and move on and continue doing things.
Welcome to Soulful Entrepreneur podcast. I'm your host, Stepanyan. Today's guest is Chinar Movsisyan. She is the founder and CEO of Feedback Intelligence, formerly known as Manot AI. Welcome, Chinar.
Thank you, Lucy, for having me.
We met during the Entrepreneurship Immersion Program in San Francisco, which was back in 2022, I think.
In July.
In July. Yeah. Super not great weather in San Francisco, by the way.
Very, very foggy.
Foggy and really windy, too.
And I was like, this is not livable.
Yeah.
But I ended up living there.
A lot of homelessness, too.
A lot of homelessness, too.
You were the one who said, I'm not going to live here.
Yeah, but after that, after 2-3 months, I was like, no, this is the city where I have to be.
So we met at the time you just started back then it was Manot AI.
Yeah.
And you were living in Yerevan.
Mm-hmm.
But now very recently, I think about a year ago or so, you moved to San Francisco. Is that correct?
It is, yeah. Like I moved there. Well, we got accepted to Berkeley SkyDeck accelerator right after that visit. I came back and then we started to apply to these all accelerators.
Yeah.
And in October 2022, we got accepted, and I had to travel back to the States. And first I moved to Berkeley because of the program being in the city. And then after the program, I was like, no, I have to move to San Francisco, even though it's like 30 minutes drive. But yeah.
Yeah. So you moved to San Francisco after the
program,
graduation
like first,
program.
First Berkeley, and then
I want to know, why do you think it's important, or is it important for entrepreneurs to live in San Francisco for at least a period of time?
I think for any entrepreneur, like they should be close to their customers, where their customers are. For us, like we have to be there, and also being an international founder, like from Armenia, so I didn't have that experience, like knowing that startup life.
Yeah.
What is that? Being an entrepreneur, it was very, very important to be there, to feel that vibe, to feel that all content, that like everything that is happening in the air, you can say. So that was very good, very important decision to make, and be there.
Do you feel comfortable in San Francisco, considering that at first you were like, no, I'm not living here?
I mean, yeah, like, when you start to explore anything, like from cities to people, like you see all of these like pros and cons and everything, and then you start to weigh. Eventually you see, well, this city is a character city, and it's very beautiful. I love San Francisco.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
And even though like in any city, in any country, there are a lot of like obstacles, especially when you move from a very, very different culture, environment, society. So, but right now it's really good. I love it. I feel very comfortable being there. And yeah.
Okay, awesome. I think I agree with you. I think it's important to be where your customers are, but also you are in this place where there's just a cluster of startups, it's like an ecosystem. So you've immersed yourself into this
Yeah.
ecosystem, and
Yeah.
you're probably learning a lot, networking a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't think you can, we can like recall any other city where that much, like, that much is happening in terms of startup, entrepreneurship, IT, AI. These all things are happening there, like in the street. Like, so, like after maybe San Francisco is like New York, then Seattle, and and then from, if we switch to like Europe and then Asia, these all like continents. So yeah, you can find some cities, but San Francisco, Silicon Valley is the place. Yeah.
But I would say there is a lot of decentralization also, right? Due to globalization, especially after COVID, we can see that startups are sprouting and the ecosystem has become a bit more digital.
Yeah,
So,
hybrid.
yeah, it's not as focused and centralized in Silicon Valley as it used to be. Would you say that, or it's not actually true?
I mean, I started my journey, we can say, after COVID. So I haven't seen like that part of like centralization here. So I have seen this way of San Francisco, Silicon Valley. But being here, like I'm traveling to Armenia, like it's like 3-4 months here in Armenia or Europe, and then in San Francisco. But whenever I'm here, like for a month and a half, and everything, I feel that like I don't have that channel like directly. So I would say still like there is a power in terms of people are there and like events, new things are happening right there.
Yep, got it. You're one of the first, maybe not the first, but you are among a handful of female entrepreneurs, especially those who are leading, who are founders of a deep tech AI company, right, in Armenia specifically. And it's probably a burden and maybe a responsibility. You're ultimately paving the way. So what I want to do is I want to go back to the beginning. So you studied math, applied math in Yerevan State University at the time, and just I want to understand what was your motivation to go into that direction and start studying applied mathematics at the time, especially considering there probably were very few women in that department.
That's correct. That's very correct. So to be very honest, I really want to drop that word woman entrepreneur, like, woman in tech. No, like we don't need like I'm an entrepreneur in tech, deep tech. That's all. Like AI is working. AI is working same way as it is working for any other founders, like transformers. These all things are same. Like why people should treat like she's a woman in tech, deep tech. No, like that's not a responsibility, but that's something that you feel that you have that label, and I don't want that. Like I have been in AI before things got generative, and I feel like I don't like I'll be very direct here. I don't like that like woman, like female, these all things. Like yeah, of course we should care, but let's care about the core, not the like woman blah blah. Like
I agree.
Yeah, as a founder, like I wanna present the work, the journey, the theme, like what I wanna do, rather than like present myself. Oh, I'm a female founder in deep tech, so you have to look. No, you have to assess this because of its like level of technology, or like in the market what kind of problem it is solving. So like just a thought here.
I get that. Just on that note, I think there's obviously like there's no difference whether you're male or female when it comes to entrepreneurship. What matters is what your startup does, and if you've hit some of the metrics and whatnot, and who you're serving, all of that. But at the same time, I would say that considering that we have so few women, highlighting some of the women that are doing this work is important, just so that others can see
Yeah.
that it's possible and it's a norm, and
Yeah.
just to shift the stereotype of idea of entrepreneurship is for men, or deep tech is not
Yeah.
something women go into.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I think it's important to
Yeah,
highlight that.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that, that we need to see those all examples where there is no like difference, like gender doesn't matter here at all. Like you just do your thing, and if you want to do, and if you are persistent enough, like with your conviction in terms of the work, wherever you are, like it's in tech, deep tech, or in I don't know, something else, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of why I started this journey as a like in applied mathematics and informatics, I was in love with math and digits, like complex problems, since like school, and I really wanted to do to start my career with mathematical like direction, to have that as a basis. That's why like 8 years ago, already 9 or more, like 10 years, already 10 years ago, one of the good like directions to go after was applied mathematics and informatics in Armenia at Yerevan State University. And I'm very grateful that I ended up applying to that program. And then, yeah, I did my undergrad there. I studied a lot of math, but also I was very interested in applied math. Like there are a lot of like theoretical stuff that we know, but my question was, well, how we can use this in other like industries, let's say in healthcare or drones, satellites, surveillance, these all directions that are important for real world applications, right?
Yeah.
So that was the reason I've applied mathematics. And then second year of my undergrad, I started doing AI, like just a very basic research. It was just starting of computer vision, AlexNet, these all things were happening. Yeah.
Did you feel any social pressure back then to go into humanities or linguistics or shit like that that women used to go to? You know, the follow the direction that was the
Yeah.
usual path for women. Did you feel that pressure?
I would say they were a lot of opinions. The thing is, like, I think it is going to be always
Yeah.
like people, they like to state their opinion. The question is how, as a person, you will receive that. You will get that, and is it a pressure, or it's a challenge, or it's a challenge to prove that, you know, I'm gonna make this, like I can do this. Like it doesn't matter that applied mathematics and informatics have like 99% students are like boys, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get the highest GPA, and I'm gonna just be there, do my thing. That's all. Like, so that's kind of you as a person. You should decide which path you are taking.
Yeah. Walk me through your journey after graduation, because there is a pre-story to founding of Manot AI, and you did certain things. You did some research. You said it elsewhere. Can you walk us through that journey?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I studied this applied mathematics and informatics, but also like parallel, I was doing this research, and then I got a job through one of my professors. She advised me at a small like startup. They were working with the Armenian government, and I started doing computer vision there, and also like these all things were happening parallel, like in parallel, and I applied to masters in information technologies at Yerevan State University still. And the job that I had was very interesting. I learned a lot, and we were doing object detection, classification for drone data, like high resolution images, these all things. And then I really wanted to study abroad, like another, not a degree, but that experience, being somewhere else outside of country, outside of your comfort zone, new language, society, people, culture, these all things. I was like, that's gonna shape me a lot. And I applied to a lot of programs, exchange programs, also double degree, because I didn't want to kind of drop my master's in Armenia at Yerevan State University. So, and then after getting a lot of rejections because of TOEFL, IELTS, these all things, I got accepted to Grenoble, like University of Grenoble in France, which is one of them for technical technical like students. It's one of the best universities in Europe. So I got accepted there, and my master's was computer science and systems.
Computer science and
Systems. Yeah, systems means like we had a hardware part as well.
Okay.
For example, one of the projects that I did was gesture recognition based on the data that you capture from radar systems. So that was something that I did there, and I started to work there as well. I moved to France, so
Do you speak French?
Un peu.
Un peu.
Yeah, a bit. So yeah, that was, and I studied this master's, and I was a double degree student. So I had my master's in Armenia, like parallel, like traveling to pass exams here and then going back and everything.
That's a pretty cool life for students, I must say.
Yeah, yeah. It was like being a student in Europe, having also a job after the master's degree, and also having a Schengen visa, being in France. That was one of the best experiences, like just travel.
Yeah, I think about the movie Euro Tour.
Exactly. That was like that. Like, hey, let's go to, let's
Romania.
say, the Romania or Italy this weekend, or how about Spain, which is like right there, like 2 hours and you are there, or Andorra. These all countries. So yeah, so I did that, and then I got a job at De facto Technologies, and I was I would say I was the first hire there to do AI for chip designs. So they were doing manufacturing these chip designs, and I was doing AI to assess the level of security of those designs at RTL, like pre-production, pre-manufacturing stage. That was very important, and we got a really good results. And they were offering me a full-time job after that.
In France.
Yeah, in France. And that was 2020, end of August, like end of summer. And I was also applying to PhD, Paris Hack, and collaboration with Arizona University. So I really wanted to continue my kind of education. So like we did everything, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna visit Armenia to see like my family and everything. And we all know, like 2022 September, the war started, and that was like, okay, I cannot leave, right? How can I live here? Like everything is so messy. We don't know what will be. What is the next, like what is the next day for us? And I decided, okay, I'm gonna cancel. At least I'm gonna postpone. I'm gonna say, hey. Because I got a scholarship, and I was like, hey, I cannot come back right now. Like, at least I cannot make that decision. Can we postpone this? And they were like, no, of course we cannot. Like, how we can hold on, like, your scholarship where there are a lot of people and they need that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, then I'll apply next year if I want that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here in Armenia, and I'll just get a job, I'll do my things, a lot of things you can do in Armenia. And it was like 2020, like a lot of cool startups here in Armenia, a lot of like, we were seeing this like tech evolution here in Armenia. So yeah, and then I decided to stay here, and that was kind of one of the reasons that I ended up doing a startup, and I didn't know anything about startup. Like that was starting from zero as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So you stayed back, and then there was this period where you actually wanted to do something to help Armenia, which was related to the drones and the war and everything. And that's how the idea of Manot AI was born.
Yes, we can say that. That was like the whole idea was two ideas here. First motivation was let's build a tech IP with cool people. Like just invest my time. My like motivation was invest your time, your skills, experience, whatever you have, like, and you will learn down the road, and build a team. Try to teach whatever you know.
Yeah.
Learn and then iterate over that, and then on the other note, just build something. At that time, we saw that we need some like data analysis, this everything. But right now, we are not doing anything related to that. But that was like
At the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah. And then we pivoted and ended up with. That's why we are kind of doing this rebranding, and from Manot, or it's like the former name of the startup. Right now, we are Feedback Intelligence.
So I think pivoting is one of the most difficult things for a startup in general to do, because you're kind of starting from scratch. You're throwing your idea out the window and starting from scratch. What advice would you give someone who has a startup and who is thinking about pivoting? Or maybe not thinking, but they're so in love with their product that they don't know if pivoting is a good idea.
Yeah, that's a hard one in terms of, well, as a founder, having an idea and saying people that this idea is gonna work is hard to step back and realize, okay, no, this idea should be changed.
Yeah.
That's a difficult thing to like. I try to convince you something X, and then I realize, oh, this is not good enough, and now I'm coming back and saying, hey, Lucy, like this was awesome, but because of X, Y, you should have that justification inside and be able to show outside, but also keep your conviction, like have your general. That's a hard one. And I remember one of the advices that I got when I moved to the Bay. During the program at SkyDeck, I met Will. He's a partner at Swift Ventures. He's awesome, and he has done a lot of startups, exited, and then now he has this VC.
So he's a VC.
Yeah, and he was like, I asked like, what kind of advice you have for me, and he was like, as a founder, just try to step back time to time and ask yourself. Try to feel the reality where you are with that idea. That's a very good skill to have. And as an entrepreneur, you should be flexible and open-minded to see what's happening around. Don't put yourself in a bubble and see also only inside and be in love with your technology and this everything. No, just see outside and be open to change.
Yeah. What was it that made you pivot in case of Manot and to Feedback Intelligence?
Yeah, I would say we did two pivots. The first pivot was changing the idea from data annotation platform to AI evaluation solution, computer vision evaluation solution. So AI, when you build an AI, first you prepare data. Yep. Initially, we were a data preparation solution. But then when you build an AI, you should evaluate it like how reliable is this AI solution to deploy in production. So we pivoted from that idea to this one, provide a solution so AI builders can use us to evaluate, to assess the performance of their AI system. That was the first pivot. And at that time we met.
Yep.
And after that...
So you already pivoted when we met?
Yes. And after that, while doing this thing and this evaluation solution, we were providing to computer vision, like companies that are doing computer vision, which is like self-driving cars, robotics, like anything related to imagery and videos. But after doing this, we saw, and also LLMs, large language models, and generative AI, with this hype 2023, we saw, well, this market is small and it's not so ready, and we have to adapt as and re-implement everything to LLM-based solutions, which is like in fintech, in legal AI, these all things, and now we call as feedback intelligence.
And you started piloting some of the things, so the product with some companies.
Patenting or
Piloting, so
yeah. After this pivot, which we did this year, end of January, February, with my co-founder, we started to look around and see, well, what's happening outside of computer vision. And yeah, we logged like 3 pilot customers. We started validating this everything with huge financial institutions, including Bank of America and everything. We got really like overwhelming validation, and we're like, okay, let's re-implement the solution and just
yeah. So you're full speed on right now.
Oh yeah.
Developing and iterating and working on with the pilots. That's amazing. You've taken part in a few programs. One is the EIP, Entrepreneurship Immersion Program. Shout out to Narsa Sohanyan for that as well. And then also Berkeley SkyDeck.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Berkeley first, maybe. How did you get into Berkeley SkyDeck? It's not an easy program to get into generally.
Yeah. So like I know about SkyDeck because Crisp, Superannotate, AIM, there are a couple of Armenian startups from Armenia, Yerevan. They got accepted to that program before me. And I know, and also SkyDeck has an advisor there, Armenian, Garen Gülbutagyan, and he was also like someone who was kind of telling about that program, like helping also, like saying things that you should know before you apply to the program to be considered, right? So this was kind of these 2 things, and also like ecosystem, Armenian ecosystem. That was the reason knowing the program, and then like preparing and trying it, like a lot of pitches, a lot of like application reviews, these all things.
So basically what you did is you prepared your application, your pitch, and then you got some advice from from various mentors who kind of helped you shape it.
Exactly.
Did you ask them why did you choose Manot AI to join, or Feedback Intelligence to join Berkeley SkyDeck?
Say it again, sorry.
Did you ask them why they chose you?
Yeah. No, I think I didn't ask. Right now, I'm very close to the partner, the managing partner, John. Very close in terms of not. They also invested in us, but not as an investor, but also advisor. So he helps a lot in terms of like just being there as a sounding board, this everything. But SkyDeck is pretty competitive, and it's an international one, which is really good. Like they choose companies around like globe, like from Australia, France. In our batch, we were 18 companies. 2 of them were from the States. 16 of them were from different countries.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was the one thing that Berkeley gave you that you would say, this was great, this like sped up our process? Or
I would say one thing. It's hard to recall one thing because, if one thing, it's just as a first-time founder, international first-time founder, not from Valley, it shapes you. Yeah. It kind of
as an entrepreneur.
Prepares you to conversations, like networking, like language, how it's done. Because like I'm coming from academia, research, university.
You're not a salesman.
No.
Which you should be, right? As a CEO.
Always you should be. Not only sell your product as a salesman, yourself. That's the only thing that works there.
Yeah. Have you been able to crack the nut of how to sell yourself?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there are a few things that you should say. Like you, even though you haven't built Apple, you should give credits to what you have done. You should be proud of, oh, I have done X, Y, Z, and be confident and show that, like storytelling. That's very important.
Yeah. Well, you didn't start your company alone, right? You had a co-founder at first, and then there were changes in the team and all of that. I want to know what are some challenges in finding a co-founder that works for you, and also maybe how did you build your team?
In general, when you start something from zero, like building a startup, working for a startup, it's all about being able to iterate in a very uncertain environment.
Yeah.
Nothing is known. Every day, every like time, every hour, every second,
Yeah.
you should be open to change, improve. You should be coachable, knowledgeable, but also you should have your conviction.
Yeah.
You should be able to distill these all things. So it's hard, like those all criterias. It's like first 5 to 10 people are crucial. Like they should believe in the vision product because there is no money,
Yeah.
right? There's no market salary for sure. There's always room to fail. There's always room to, yeah, to do things wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not something that like people should be that resilience,
Yeah.
like that.
Resilient. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that should be there, and also like growth. Every day, every month, you grow like as a team, and with these like challenges, yeah, just overcome those challenges together, and most importantly, share the same values and mindset and vision at every point of this journey. That's so important. Otherwise, like you just like you don't want to do that because it's hard. It's very hard.
I know, but it's also super hard to find someone even to distinguish that this person has the same values as you, because sometimes it's kind of not certain, right? You think it
It
is the
is, and then
case.
you say like no,
Yeah.
we are, and also understanding that like, and after that, like being able to say no to a lot of things and move on and continue doing things, it's very hard. Yeah, I had a team. We had a lot of like changes in the team, and then yeah,
Yeah. What keeps you going in times of uncertainty?
curiosity,
Curiosity. This is the second time
passion.
I'm hearing this. Okay.
Yeah, passion,
Curiosity towards what?
uncertainty.
Oh my God. Okay. So you like the adrenaline of
Oh yeah,
uncertainty. You
yeah.
enjoy
Like
that.
yeah, that's something that drives you to hustle, to innovate, to solve, to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy with your team now?
Oh yeah, very. I was always happy. I'm saying like every person who was part of this journey since we started this everything was a very good experience, and I'm very grateful that I know them like until now, and now we have really good, like they're awesome.
Yeah.
Like
I want to hear the story of you getting into YC. I mean, not getting an interview
yeah,
from
interview.
YC. I think it's a super cool story and
Yeah,
it has a lesson. So
it has like YC is one of the most competitive, right?
I
Like
think it's the most competitive.
most competitive.
Yeah.
Like it's not possible to kind of get in. Like it's very
There are
hard.
very few companies get
Yeah,
into YC. It's
into
like a
YC
handful
or
globally.
just like interview this everything. What
Yeah.
happened? And after SkyDeck, after having an accelerator, it's like why I should apply to YC, right? Like what it will give you, because and also like there are a lot of companies that haven't gone through YC and they're successful, like
Yeah.
a lot.
Of course.
But I remember it was like it was last year in November or October. YC had this had this co-founder matching event, really good one, really like very like crafted people and partners were there in the event. It was a really good one, and I got accepted to join that event, and that day was the last day to apply to YC. But I didn't like apply to
You
that.
didn't prepare or anything?
No, nothing. I was in that event and I met Jared Friedman. There, I started to brainstorm like a solution with them. And at that time, we were this computer vision evaluation solution.
Okay, so you hadn't pivoted yet.
I hadn't. It was like end of the year, and we
Okay.
pivoted like, and YC, their feedback also was like something that we took into account.
Nice.
And we had this conversation around like more than 30 minutes. And at that time, I didn't have a.
You had a one-on-one with him?
Yeah, like
Oh
that.
my God,
I was like,
so
okay,
lucky.
because it's like, it was very interesting to talk to him. And what happened, they were saying, oh, we want to hear like up to 5 founders line up to pitch to the audience. And
Right.
I just was the first one. And
so you said, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, of course,
Nice.
of course.
Good job.
And they're like, you should, as a founder, you should use any opportunity there. So I also did that. And after that pitch, he was open to talk to me because maybe he heard that. And then I was talking to him, and he was like, after the conversation, he was like, did you apply to YC? And I was like, no, because we went through Berkeley SkyDeck. I'm very happy about that program. I feel like, do we need? And I was like, yeah, maybe.
I'm happy. I don't need YC, you guys.
And that was not the intention, but I was like, okay, let's try this out. And I came home. It was like around 10-11 p.m. and like an hour, and then the application will be closed. I was like, okay, let's just fill this out. Like, who cares? Just like what you do. You know who are your competitors.
Yeah.
Just fill this out, and I did that. And after a week or 2 weeks, I got a message saying, your application is strong, but it's not sufficient because you are a solo founder.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. And
but you got an interview.
Yeah, I got an interview. And at that time, I was working with my co-founder now, but he was advising me, like, because he had a full-time job and we met before.
Your current co-founder?
Yeah, my current co-founder. And he was like, he was helping me, like, we met, I don't know, before, like, we were working together. And I was like, hey, I got this message. What do you think? Do you think that we can work as co-founder? Like, kind of did that YC message sped up. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, let's try this out. And we started to work together. And we interviewed with YC together. And we got an interview. I said, I replied to that message saying, oh, thank you for the feedback. Apparently, of course,
I do have a founder.
Yeah, like, that's something that I do share with you. Like, having a co-founder, it's really important.
Yeah.
But also statistics shows that solo founders build unicorn companies more than.
Nice.
Yeah. There is a like statistics research there. So yeah, and then we interviewed, and then the question after the interview was not the question. Comment was, "This is cool. What you are building, the problem that you are solving, is awesome, but computer vision is a small and slow market now. How are you gonna make this like 100 million ARR? Like, what is the path? How many companies are there that you can?" Which was fair comment.
Yeah.
And we know, like, right now everyone is talking about large language models, generative AI. This all like classic machine learning and computer vision is something like people are like considering re-implementing, adapting. So that was one of the also comments we had, and also after doing a couple of other like advisory, customer discovery, all these things, we saw, okay, we need to pivot. We have to pivot.
Yeah. So the lesson here is basically apply as much as you can. Take your time. Just apply as much as you can to anything, or would you say be mindful about, okay, this?
Be mindful to your time, But as an entrepreneur, the attitude that should be there is be open to consider, to think about. But on the other note, one of the things that you have, entrepreneurs, founders have only time. It's very important. Like time is the cost of your company being there or not. So time is like your runway. Time is like the market, competitive landscape. This is all about time. So if you spend your time just sitting and applying to not necessary things, and also like applying to things when the application you review it days, months, no, you can't do that. Like you,
just
of course,
understand the pros and cons, and then
focus and everything. So
yeah, I love that. I know you're quite a sensitive person. You can get emotional as well. Me too. Like I probably am much more emotional than you are. But you have kind of trained yourself throughout this time. During your entrepreneurial journey, you've shaped your personality or character in a way that works for you. And that makes you efficient and effective in communication and relationship with DCs and all of that. What were some of the lessons that helped you shape yourself, shape your personality?
Lessons, like the overall journey, like the whole journey is a lesson, was a lesson, like has been lesson. So, but yeah, like I'm sensitive, I'm also impulsive, like these all things are there. But what I learned that you have to have these like, I wouldn't say different personalities, but you should say, well, myself, like I'm Chinar as a founder, teammate, co-founder, and then friend. These all, you should have boundaries, especially when like with this like small team, you're friends, you care about each other. On the other note, you don't want to like say something in terms of feedback about work, but you should have that boundary. You should be able to say, well, this KPI we didn't reach, like we didn't, why? And after that, be able to, after work, have that understanding, this is work, this is the feedback. And with that, you will have that environment when they can provide you feedback as well. Because you're not perfect, right? Your teammate, or not only you as a founder and your teammate, but also they, like to
within themselves.
Within themselves, they are able to, if they have that environment, being open, saying things, that's very important, not keeping inside. And then that's something that I learned also. Any small challenge, obstacle should be discussed now. If we have a problem, if we have an argument or something, like of course you're gonna have, like there is no way to avoid that, because different people, different minds are getting together to solve one problem. Of course you have opinions here, and you should be able that you should have that environment where people provide feedback themselves and they are not taking that personally. That's also another like learning.
It's a two-way street. You need to give feedback and get feedback. And so I understand that. Like, so having various personalities when it comes to different roles, because as a founder you're one thing, as a CEO founder you're one thing, as a when you're communicating with VCs and pitching it's another thing, when you are talking to your friends is a completely different Chinar that comes out. So it's important to distinguish that as you are in relationship. I think it's a super valuable lesson in itself. I also remember you mentioned once about advice that you got from founding engineer of Theranos.
Oh yeah.
What was that lesson? What was that?
Okay, that's a hard one to explain. So yeah, one of my friends, he's running a startup now as well. He's an amazing person. He's like from Stanford and Berkeley, and he was a founding engineer at Theranos. We all know about Theranos, Elizabeth.
Of course.
So, yeah, we do. So he was saying basically, this is all about business.
For VCs.
For VCs, for like kind of everyone, like, right? This is all about whenever they invest, they just see like, okay, I have this percentage here and it's gonna be this. But I do agree with that, but also at very initial, like there should be some level of trust, which is coming from personal understanding, right? You trust someone as a person, you see that trust is coming, and that's why you are investing. You want to work with. It's not only about money, numbers, and everything. It is about like, but first you trust. So here, like, they can multiply that money or whatever. Then it is about a number, right? So, but that's something that you should keep into account whenever you interact with this, like especially down the road when you grow, when you scale up, this everything is happening. Yeah.
I want to know, what stage are you at right now in terms of raising, and what is it that's needed for Feedback Intelligence to grow at this point?
Well, when we started this pivot, like looking around, we got an overwhelming validation, and we saw that we need to speed up the development and everything. That's why we were like, okay, we need some more resources, and that was the reason to start raising. And yeah, we are very close to close a couple of good names and have their like, let's say, presence in this journey, and we are very excited. So yeah, we just need to, like, we are right now, we just finished the MVP development, we are starting the pilots. We just started the pilots, and then after that a successful pilot delivery, and then case studies, and then converting them to annual contracts, and then just spend time feedback-based iterations, and then just sell. Yeah.
Do you need any resources right now? Are you raising funds?
Yeah, we
You have closed some of them.
Yeah, we have closed some of them, but as a CEO, you're always raising, yeah, of course, if there are people. Yeah.
For you personally, as a founder, what is one thing that you would say, if this happens, I'll be happy?
I am happy, right?
Good.
Yeah, I am happy right now. Everything is fine. I mean, like, I'm very excited about where we are, what I have done so far with this team, and where we are right now. It's very exciting times to be in this market ecosystem and innovate, do things. Just like being in this, like, AI hype, like generative AI hype, which is very cool. So yeah, like just
you're right there. You're right in the midst of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I feel like we have everything. Yeah, just execute over the resources that you have, and if you don't have, create one. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chinar.
Oh, thank you so much for the questions.
I think that you're going to be super successful anyway.
Oh, thank you. That's another pressure.
Another pressure, yeah. Pressure cooker right now. But I think you are on your way, and you've gone through so much already, and you've went through a journey of transformation and a lot of growth as an entrepreneur, as a person. I remember you, like, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And now, completely different person, I must say,
you.
more confident, and you're there, you're killing it. So good luck with your startup, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for hearing my story again and again.